First time on those cold streets in Philadelphia. And I knew this was like the moment of truth. And they said, "Sylvester, you ready?" I said, "No, but Rocky is."
Sylvester Stallone is an American actor, producer, director, and screenwriter. Unlike most Hollywood stars, Stallone has written, produced, and/or directed many of his major franchise movies. As of this making, Stallone's movies have generated more than $4 billion in global revenue. In 1975, inspired by a Muhammad Ali versus Chuck Wepner fight he'd seen, he wrote a screenplay about a struggling underdog thug with ambitions to become a professional boxer. After writing the screenplay for Rocky in just 3 days, Stallone found interest in his project at multiple studios. United Artists was the frontrunner, but they wanted it as a starring vehicle for Robert Redford of James Caan. He pressured the film's producers, Irwin Winkler and Robert Chartoff, to allow him to star in the movie. He accepted a cut-rate salary of $23,000 for the film. That's the same as around $110,000 today. The movie went on to earn $225 million on a budget of $1 million. In 1977, Stallone was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Rocky, for Best Original Screenplay and Best Actor. He became the 3rd man in history to receive these 2 nominations for the same film, after Charlie Chaplin and Orson Welles.
But I was never there. And now when I sit back and I reflect on it, what an incredible miracle.
His full name is Michael Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone, but is also known as Sly Stallone. He was born on July 6, 1946, in New York City in the USA, making him 74 years of age at the time of this edit. He stands at 5 feet 10 or 1.77 meters tall.
That's the one thing I'll always cherish about that character, because if I say it, you won't believe it, but when Rocky said it, it was the truth.
Stallone's hobbies and interests include oil painting, acting, working out, and spending time with his family. His favorite color is red. His favorite food is junk food. His favorite perfume is Bijan for Man by Bijan. His favorite movie is Rocky.
There was really very little distraction, so I would sit there propped up in bed, and I'd go out with my big pen and legal pad and just start writing these stories. And
Sylvester Stallone married Sasha Jacques in 1974, and the couple had 2 sons together, Sage Moonblood, born 1976, and Sergei, born 1979. They divorced after 11 years of marriage. Susan Anton made tabloid news in the early 1990s when she started a romance with Sylvester Stallone, who was married at the time. Sylvester Stallone married Bridget Nielsen in 1985, the same year his first divorce was finalized. The marriage lasted only 2 years and was highly publicized in the media. Sylvester Stallone dated Jennifer Flavin for years before breaking up with her by sending her a Dear Jane letter via FedEx. They went their separate ways for a year before getting back together and starting a family. Sylvester Stallone dated Janice Dickinson for less than a year in the early 90s, and Janice thought he was the father of her daughter, Savannah. It was later discovered that Michael Birnbaum was the father, and Stallone left Dickinson. Sylvester Stallone and Angie Everhart were briefly engaged in 1995, but they never made it down the aisle. Sylvester Stallone married Jennifer Flavin in 1997, and the pair have 3 daughters, Sophia, born in 1996, Sistine, 1998, and Scarlett, born in 2002.
rise up and say, "John, I'm dying here." And he goes, no, use it. Use the pain. I said, "For what? I mean, I'm in misery." He goes, "Well, no."
Sylvester Stallone was born on July 6, 1946, as Michael Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan. He's the elder son of Italian-born Francesco Frank Stallone Sr., a hairdresser, and Jackie Stallone, an astrologer and dancer. He has a younger brother, Frank Stallone, who is an actor and musician. Complications during childbirth caused the lower left side of Sylvester's face to be paralyzed, giving him his now iconic snarling look and slightly slurred speech. Stallone spent some of his early years in foster care due to his parents' volatile relationship. The couple later divorced. Stallone studied drama at the American College in Switzerland before moving on to the University of Miami. He left school before completing his degree and moved to New York City to pursue acting as a career.
In fact, I had to go out and try to sell my dog because it was either do that or he just was not going to be very well fed around the house.
Stallone's first starring role was in The Party at Kitty, a softcore adult film he explains he did out of desperation after being evicted from his apartment. He was paid $200 for 2 days of work. His first few early film roles were minor, including an uncredited role in Woody Allen's film Bananas in 1971. In 1976, Rocky was released. Stallone gained immediate A-list status and world fame with his starring role. The film was a critical and box office hit and went on to earn $117 million at the box office and 10 Academy Award nominations. It was up for Best Picture against other now classic films such as All the President's Men, Network, and Taxi Driver, but ultimately Rocky clinched the win. It also nabbed awards for Best Directing and Best Film Editing. Rocky II was released in 1979, followed by 2 more in the 80s, and Stallone continued to enjoy box office success. In 1982, Stallone launched another critical and box office smash with his role as John Rambo in the action movie Rambo: First Blood. 3 sequels were made after the first film. In preparation for both of his roles as Rocky and Rambo, he adhered to an incredibly vigorous training program. 2 workouts a day, 6 days a week, and more exercise in the evenings. He reduced his body fat percentage to an all-time low of 2.8% for the 3rd Rocky installment. 1987 saw Stallone beginning to face a decline in popularity when he starred in Over the Top, a box office flop that fared poorly amongst critics. In the 90s, he released Rocky V, which was yet another box office disappointment. He attempted to make movies in the comedy genre, but was met with critical and commercial disasters in the form of early 90s movies Oscar and Stop or Mom Will Shoot. Stallone enjoyed a brief career warm-up with Cliffhanger in 1993, which grossed US $170 million, as well as 1996 Daylight. But by the early 2000s, he was acting in a string of box office disappointments and critical letdowns. Stallone took a 3-year hiatus, and in 2006 had a comeback with the 6th Rocky film. He wrote, directed, and starred in critically acclaimed Rocky Balboa, which had a budget of $24 million and made $155.7 million worldwide. He also reprised his role of Rambo in the 4th installment of that series, Rambo. In 2010, he wrote, directed, and starred in the successful The Expendables, which went straight to number 1 at the box office upon opening weekend. A sequel was released in 2012 to similarly positive reviews and a number 1 slot in the box office. In 2015, Stallone added another chapter of the Rocky series with a spin-off film, Creed. Directed by Ryan Coogler, the film focused on Adonis Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan, the son of Rocky's rival, Apollo Creed. Stallone received widespread acclaim and his 3rd Oscar nomination for Best Support Actor. Creed 2, released in 2018, was also met with positive reviews and a $35.3 million opening weekend. The 5th Rambo movie was released on September 20, 2019, and grossed $91 million worldwide.
I could do much better if you had a real actor reading with me. He goes, well, Carl, that's Rocky. That's the guy who wrote the script.
Sylvester Stallone's net worth is an estimated $400 million. For the last few decades, Sylvester's primary residence has been an opulent mansion in the tiny gated community at the top of Beverly Hills called Beverly Park. His property spans 3.5 acres and features a 15,500 square foot home. Nearby neighbors include Eddie Murphy, Mark Wahlberg, and Denzel Washington. Similar homes have sold recently for $40 to $70 million. In January 2010, Sylvester and his wife, Jennifer Flavin, paid $4.5 million for a vacation retreat in La Quinta, California. They attempted to sell this house a number of times, starting in 2014. By 2016, they had even reduced the price to $3.625 million, but still did not find a buyer. They continue to own the house today.
If I can just be lucid, if I can still be standing on my feet, you know what? Then life isn't so bad.
Sylvester's car collection includes a Porsche Panamera, a Bentley Continental GTC, an Aston Martin DBS, a custom Camaro SS, and a Mercedes-Benz SL65. Stallone also owns the super yacht Enchantress.